Hello, welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel if you've been here before. I know I haven't been on here in a while, and I'm happy to say I am back with another Pretty Little Liars video. I'm not going to make my whole channel Pretty Little Liars videos, but I have a lot of Pretty Little Liars content to share. So the good majority of it, at least for now, will be Pretty Little Liars, which hopefully you're excited about because a lot of people liked my reading the 18-book Pretty Little Liars series video vlog that I did last summer. I posted it 6 months ago, so it's been 6 months. The year was off to a rocky start. However, I have been working on a Time Traveler's Wife video. That video is going to be huge and meaty. Like, it's going to be so long. I am so excited about it. It should be up very, very soon, and you can count on me posting pretty regularly. I don't know if I'm going to be on any sort of schedule or anything, but I am really excited about my content. I'm about to get into the video, so bear with me. I do want to mention that I have a TikTok account. It's called Extra Sydney, where I post a lot of Pretty Little Liars content. I have so many scripts written up. Today we're talking about Toby, obviously, but I have a Jenna script, Mona, which was a huge topic, like Mona being A, Alison being A, and who was A after Alison died in a mysterious fire. I'm going to be doing the Jamaica thing soon. I'm going to be doing Hannah and Lucas as a couple. There is a never-ending amount of topics that I can do, and I have covered a lot on my TikTok already. I post Pretty Little Liars content along with other book content and writing and poetry and stuff like that if you're interested. Sorry, it's not gonna all be Pretty Little Liars content, but I promise I do post a lot of that on there. Right now, I'm actually doing The Liars, which is the Pretty Little Liars audiobook on Audible that came out last year. So it's them 15 years into the future. I'll consider doing a YouTube video on that because why not? But I do cover it on my TikTok. So I will say my long form videos are going to be very similar to the content I discuss in the TikTok videos because the facts are the same and I'm following the same script. So just to preface that, if you hate spoilers, this is not the video for you. Don't watch it. And yes, let's get into Toby Cavanaugh. Who was Toby Cavanaugh in the Pretty Little Liars book series compared to who he was in the TV show? He is a wildly different character, so he's very interesting for me to talk about. In the first season of the Pretty Little Liars TV show, he was very quiet and he even seemed a little bit creepy at times. We even wonder at first, like, if he was the one that killed Alison, so that was like his whole vibe in the first season, right? He has a very sweet friendship with Emily and then ends up falling in love with Spencer. Spoby, we love Spoby. We know Spoby.
For a town where some pretty awful things have happened today, almost nothing happened. We haven't done this in a while. I've missed it.
Yeah, me too.
He's also briefly on the A-Team.
I'll see you soon.
He's basically the protective boyfriend trope type in the TV show and very loving towards Spencer. Also a very loved character in general. But this cannot be further from the truth in the book series. He's actually a pretty disgusting yet slightly misunderstood character. I want to tread lightly on this topic because it becomes pretty serious. So his personality in the book series is pretty similar to his personality, at least in the first season, I would say, but the way he is perceived is completely different. I heard, just like through the rumor mill, that Toby was supposed to be more like the book series, and then he had such good chemistry with Spencer that he was kept on. I don't know if that's true. It could be completely false. I don't know. So yeah, he is misunderstood in certain instances, but he is also often painted as the villain of, I'm not going to say the series because he was actually only in the first 2 books, Pretty Little Liars and Flawless. Flawless is like his big moment. Like, that book is all about him. So to talk about Toby as a character, we obviously have to talk about the Jenna Thing because he is very involved in the Jenna Thing, but I am going to have an entirely different video on on Jenna Cavanaugh and the Jenna Thing, where I'll go into more detail about what happened, because in the TV show, the Jenna Thing is fairly simple and straightforward. This is what happened. There was a stink bomb. It blew up. Jenna got blinded, right? In the book series, it's like, this is what everyone thinks happened, but what actually happened is so much deeper than that and so layered and so interesting that it deserves an entire video for itself, because that's more about Ali and Jenna and not really about Toby. So we're just gonna keep it surface level on the Jenna Thing for this video. So the Jenna Thing is brought up multiple times in the prologue of the very first Pretty Little Liars book. So before the series even really starts, we already know that something has happened. We don't know what the Jenna Thing is, but we know, obviously, that it involves Jenna. But we also don't even really know who Jenna is yet. This is before the very first chapter of the book. Toby is first introduced on page 145, and I'm going to be reading you certain quotes from the book itself that just encapsulates what I want to say and the perfect way, so why would I alter it? This is our first mention of Toby Cavanaugh. Emily was still wearing her blue string bracelet from 6th grade. Alison had made them for everyone right after the accident. The Jenna Thing happened. So that is our first moment of the Jenna Thing. Initially, they had just wanted to get Jenna's brother, Toby. Get him. It was supposed to be a prank. After the 5 of them planned it, Ali went across the street to watch Toby's treehouse window, and then when it happened, it did something horrible to Jenna. After the ambulance pulled away from Jenna's house, Spencer discovered something about the accident that none of the other girls ever found out. Toby saw Ali, but Ali saw Toby doing something just as bad. He couldn't tell on her because then she would tell on him. So imagine you're reading the Pretty Little Liars book and you get that bomb. Oh my god. Like, what? What happened to Jenna? What did Ali do? What did Ali see Toby do? Mwah. Thank you, Sarah Shepard. Absolute gold. So we know that Toby is mysterious right off the bat. This is not a character that we trust. He is a mysterious part in the Jenna Thing, and so does Ali. So see what I'm saying about how it's kind of giving like first season Toby, or at least like Toby in the first couple episodes where he's like walking around town and Pam's like, when people see Toby on the street, they walk to the other side of the street. Whatever the quote was that she said. Like, that's the vibe we're getting. And that's basically all we get in the first Pretty Little Liars book. Like I said, flawless. The second book is where Toby Cavanaugh really has his moment. So he's introduced a bit better in the prologue of this book. You know, the boy who lives a few doors down from you, who's just the creepiest person alive. When you're on your front porch about to kiss your boyfriend goodnight, you might glimpse him across the street just standing there. He'll randomly appear when you're gossiping with your best friends, except maybe it's not so random after all. He's the black cat that seems to know your route. If he rides by your house, you think, I'm going to fail my bio exam. If he looks at you funny, watch your back. Every town has a black cat boy. In Rosewood, his name was Toby Cavanaugh. So we're supposed to think he's super creepy, he's an outcast character. So the girls are having a sleepover, and this is similar to the sleepover they had in the TV show. Think of Ali flashbacks in the TV show. The prologue is basically a whole flashback.
Okay, wait, hand me that.
I guess I should preface that in the book series, when the book series starts, it's 3 years after Ali has gone missing. Whereas in the TV show, it's only been 1 year, but it's still the same vibe, right? They're starting off the series, the 4 girls, Alison is missing, but then we get flashbacks here and there of when Ali was still alive, so this is one of those moments. Remember when they were like all changing, and then Ali runs to the window and is like, Toby's watching, but she was actually lying about that in the TV show.
I see you! Oh my god, I can't believe it!
What was it, Allie? What did you see?
He was in that tree spying on us! I am so creeped out!
Who was it?
It was that perv, Toby Cavanaugh.
Should we tell someone?
I mean, we could, but I have a better idea.
In the book, the girls turn around. At the window was Toby Cavanaugh. He was just standing there staring at them. Ew, ew, ew. Aria covered up her chest. She had taken off Spencer's dress and was again in her knitted bra. In the book series, a huge aspect of Aria's character was A, that she had huge boobs, and B, that she knitted these bras for her and for all of her friends. So that's why that's in there. And I thought it was a little fun fact. Spencer, who was clothed, ran up to the window. Get away from us, perv, she cried. Toby smirked before he turned and ran away. So right off the bat, this is a bit different because it's not like Ali is just trying to make stuff up to make Toby look guilty. Toby is there, he is creepy, he's spying on them, and all of the girls see him at the window. And Spencer's even the one that shoos him away, and he smirks. So this is not the same character that we know and love. That's for fucking sure. So we continue to build up his character and learn more about him. When most people saw Toby, they crossed to the other side of the street. And like I said, this is actually a quote that Pam says in the TV show. I love when they take like literal pieces of dialogue and information from the books because it's like, I see what you did there. Like, that's so good. But I'm pretty sure Pam says this in the TV show after they go to homecoming together and Emily has her accident. I don't think it's like so early on. He was a year older than the girls, pale, tall, and skinny, and he was always wandering around the neighborhood alone, seemingly spying on everyone. They heard rumors about him that he'd been caught French kissing his dog, that he was such a good swimmer because he had fish gills instead of lungs, that he slept in a coffin in his backyard treehouse every night. There was only one person Toby spoke to, his stepsister Jenna, who was in their grade. I love how this is written because it really does seem like preteen, like, okay, a rumor about him having fish gills, like it just seems so young, and I really love the vibe that Sarah Shepard brings in these books. Really takes me back in time. But in the book, this is where the Jenna thing happens. After Ali sees him at the window, her face blazed red with fury. We have to get him back. The thing to do, she explained, was to scare Toby. When Toby wasn't around the neighborhood spying on people, he was guaranteed to be in his treehouse. He spent every other waking second there, playing with his Game Boy or who knows, building a giant robot. But since the treehouse was obviously up in a tree, and because Toby pulled up the rope ladder so no one was able to follow him, they couldn't just peek in and say, boo, we need fireworks. Luckily, we know just where they are. Toby was obsessed with fireworks. He kept a stash of bottle rockets at the base of the tree and often sent them off through the treehouse's skylight. We sneak over there, steal one, and light it at his window. It'll totally freak him out. So this is the original plan. We don't know if Ali was lying to the girls and actually had some huge master plan about what she wanted to do, or if this was her original plan and things just happened to go wrong. To clarify, obviously we know afterwards that she had this whole plan to make this happen, but at the time in the book where this is happening, we're not sure if it was just a complete accident or what happened. The girls watch from the window. Remember, Toby is across the street. Whose house are they at? Spencer's house? Okay, so they're actually in Alison's house. I was trying to make sense of like the whole map of Rosewood, but Alison and Emily are neighbors. So that's why when Maya moves into Allie's house, they're neighbors, and the Cavanaugh house is across the street from them. Ali goes over by herself. So in the TV show, the girls all go over together and Ali kind of does the honors, but the girls don't actually go over in the book. Ali ran around to the Cavanaugh's side yard and right up to Toby's treehouse. It was partially obscured by tall elms and pines, but the streetlight illuminated just enough for them to see its vague outline. A minute later, they were pretty sure they saw Ali holding a cone-shaped firework in her hands, stepping about 20 feet back, far enough so that she had a clear view of the treehouse's flickering blue window. I'm pretty sure the treehouse is flickering blue because he's playing video games up there, but in the book, we have a huge emphasis on the treehouse rather than just being like in a garage or something, and also like fireworks and Toby having the fireworks. I think Alison's whole like smoke bomb thing didn't really make sense. Where did she get that from? Okay, I say smoke bomb a few times. Every single time I say smoke bomb, I mean stink bomb, alright? She said it was a smoke bomb, but it was a firework, so did she purposely get the firework? It was a firework, right? Like in the TV show? I'm not really sure. Okay, so Alison says it's a stink bomb. All of the girls think it's a stink bomb in the TV show, but then it turns out to be a firecracker. In the book series, it was a firework the whole time. Toby's fireworks. But I am confused about, did Ali know that it was a firecracker? Like, I'm guessing she did this on purpose to blind Jenna on purpose, but for what? Like, in the book series, when we get to the Jenna thing, there's an actual reason why she uses the firework. What reason is there for her to do this to them? Was the whole thing an accident? Like, if anyone knows for sure, you can clarify it for me because I'm a little bit confused about this one little aspect. Also, where does she get it from? Did she just have this lying around? Like, in the book, they get it because Toby has an obsession with fireworks, so that's why there were fireworks. Why the fuck does she have a firecracker that she thinks is a stink bomb? This explanation does make a lot more sense to me though. Obviously, I mean the explanation that they give in the book series for it being Toby's fireworks just makes so much more sense, unless I'm fucking missing something. I don't know.
Are you sure that it was Toby?
Yes. And it's a stink bomb, for God's sakes. We're not nuking the place.
Here.
Run!
Allie, what did you do?
We have to get out of here. Come on, let's go.
Emily and Aria jumped back. Spencer and Hanna pressed their faces against the window. It was still dark across the street. A brighter light flickered from the treehouse window, but that was all. So Spencer decides to go outside to crouch behind a bush and get a better view of everything. She sees that the paramedics are going into the treehouse, and then Allie comes up behind her. She can see a jagged hole in the treehouse. A paramedic leaves holding somebody that they think is Toby at first, but then she realizes it's actually Jenna. Several minutes later, Allie and Spencer came back inside. Allie told them all what happened with an almost eerie calmness. The firework had gone through the window and hit Jenna. No one had seen her light it, so they were all safe as long as they kept quiet. It was, after all, Toby's firework. If the cops would blame anyone, it would be him. All night they cried and hugged and went in and out of sleep. When they awoke the next day, the news was all over the neighborhood. Someone had confessed. Toby. The girls thought it was a joke, but the local paper confirmed that Toby had admitted to playing with a lit firework in the treehouse, accidentally sending one at his sister's face, and the firework had blinded her. So this also happens in a very similar way. Toby gets in trouble for the firework. All of the girls are confused by this except for Allie and Spencer, because they have a secret about that night. And we will get back to this in a minute, but this secret kind of looms over them throughout this book until she tells the truth to the girls by the end. Jenna ended up going to a school for the blind in Philadelphia, much like the TV show.
Where did you get that? The guy I likes to make movies. I thought they were just of me.
Toby goes to a reform school in Maine.
What is this?
You know exactly what it is.
So this book is mostly about the girls feeling guilt over the Jenna thing and slowly unraveling what they know to be true about what happened. And obviously Spencer has a specific memory from that night that she's been keeping from the girls all of these years. Remember, it's been 3+ years since this happened, and she's been keeping this a secret. So in Spencer's chapters in this book, we do get her confession, kind of giving the audience information or thinking about it within herself, but she hasn't been honest with the girls yet about this. The night of Jenna's accident, Spencer had witnessed something that her friends hadn't, but Allie made her keep it a secret, even from Emily, Aria, and Hanna. For years, Spencer tried to block out what had come next. Toby Cavanaugh coming straight for them. His hair was matted to his head, and his goth, pale face was flushed. He walked right up to Allie. "I saw you." Toby was so angry he was shaking. He glanced toward his driveway where the police car had pulled in. "I'm going to tell." So Toby saw Allie light the firework, much like how it happened in the TV show, and we get that flashback of Toby coming up to Allie being mad at her, right?
You think I didn't see what was going on in there?
It's not what it looked like.
Maybe not to you.
What were you doing here anyway? What the hell did it ever do to you?
You've been peeping in my window for years.
Never. I've never looked in your window.
Well, I've looked in yours, and we're not taking the blame for this.
Oh, yes, you are.
No, not unless you want the entire world to know how close you are with your stepsister. You talk, and I'll make sure everybody knows you've been doing it with her.
They were pretty on the nose with the source material when it came to this part in the TV show, but then they just totally went rogue and everything isn't the same after the first couple of books. Seriously, way different. The second half of the series and the Pretty Little Liars series is so fucking good. They should have just ran with it, but whatever. There's also some things about the TV show that I love more, such as Caleb. Spencer gasped. The ambulance doors slammed shut. Allie was calm. "Yeah, but I saw you too," she said. "And if you tell, I'll tell too. Your parents." Toby took a step back. No. Yes, you lit the firework. You hurt your sister. Stepsister. Toby mumbles, almost inaudibly. And can we just stop for a second and think about how gross that actually is, knowing what was happening between the two of them? Like, the fact that he felt like he needed to clarify that there's nothing wrong with it because that's my stepsister. Yeah. There actually is something wrong with that. He glances at the treehouse and then toward the end of the street. Another police car slowly rolled up to the Kavanaugh's house. "I'll get you," he growled at Allie. "You just wait." Then he disappeared. Spencer grabbed Allie's arm. "What are we going to do?" "Nothing," Allie said. "We're fine." Oh, she's so hateable, but also, like, so fucking fabulous. Speaking of, she has a catchphrase, "I'm Allie, and I'm fabulous." And it's so funny because it fits her character in the book series, but if the TV show version had said it, I don't think it would have landed as well, so I'm glad they didn't do that. Because I feel like the TV show, they seem so much more mature, but in the book series, it's really aged down. Like, you're supposed to believe they're so cool, but then they just act like preteens. Hi, it's me again, just to clarify a few things. So, like I mentioned before, there's a 3-year difference. So, when we go to the flashbacks, they are preteens. All of the flashbacks happen in the summer before 8th grade, versus in the TV show, they must have been in like 10th grade, because I think they start in 11th grade. I'm not 100% positive, but they're literally like children in the book series. She goes missing when she's a fucking child, and then when they come back 3 years later, they're in high school. "Alison," Spencer blinked in disbelief. "Didn't you hear him? He said he saw what you did. He's going to tell the police right now." "I don't think so. Not with what I've got on him." In the TV show, rather than Spencer being there, she simply overhears Allie saying something to Toby, but she's not really sure what's happening. So Spencer doesn't like have this big secret that she's keeping from the girls. It's definitely done in a different way in the TV show. Everybody knows. And then she leaned over and whispered what she'd seen Toby do. It was something so disgusting. Allie had forgotten she was holding the firework until it shot out of her hands and through the treehouse window. So what Allie is saying, basically, is she saw through the window that Toby was essaying Jenna Cavanaugh. She was so shocked that instead of lighting the firework near the treehouse to scare Toby, she got distracted and let the firework go straight through the treehouse. But obviously, like I mentioned, this is not exactly what happened. This is just Allie's story. So this is what Spencer believes, and this is what the rest of the girls will believe for a while until they unravel more of the truth of what happened. But the essaying is true. So obviously, in the book series, the dynamic between Jenna and Toby is swapped. In the TV show, they really went with Jenna being the creepy one and kind of essaying Toby.
It's not right.
There's nothing wrong about us, Toby. We're not really related. It's so easy for me to convince your daddy and my mommy that you've been forcing yourself on me.
While in the book series, Toby is the one that did that. So he has more of a sinister vibe, and Jenna is the victim. And she's actually really, really sweet in the book. Like, she does have mysterious vibes, but she's a completely different character in the book too, and I can't wait to talk about her. Real quick, I want to talk about, I don't know if you guys have been watching the Pretty Little Liars podcast with the actors that play Jenna and Paige. Their names are Tammin and Lindsay, obviously. Put some respect on their names, since I didn't actually name them directly. I have really, really been enjoying it. They have a lot of Pretty Little Liars cast members as guests, and then they do a true crime element to it. I wish they talked more about the actual content of the TV show, and I see a lot of people in the comments talking about that as well. But there was, I don't want to like be too harsh. When they had Sarah Shepherd on, they had a conversation about Jenna and Toby, and it kind of irked me a little bit. First of all, they were like, "Oh, that happened in the book series too, right?" And Sarah Shepherd was like, "I don't think so. Like, did I write that? I'm not sure. Maybe."
So in the books, they had like Sarah, right? They had this thing going on, right? So, or was it not?
I don't remember.
which I get it, girl. You wrote so many fucking books. I'd start to forget too. And like at this point, am just such an expert that I'm like, oh, have me on, have me on. Like, I'll tell you everything you need to know. Like, I know. Like, I just want to be like, actually, yes, it did happen in the book series, and it was kind of swapped, and Toby was the bad guy, and blah, 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 blah. And the girl who plays Jenna was kind of, I don't know, like, they didn't really talk about how crazy the relationship between Toby and Jenna was, and how messed up it was, and she was kind of like almost defending it, like, oh, but they're not really related.
I wasn't really related to him. It was like when my cousins dated. No, but they weren't blood related, so is it really such a big deal?
And I just thought, like, they try to keep things fairly lighthearted when it comes to the issues in the TV show. And I feel like there's so much more they could have taken from that or discussed within that. And they go really deep with, like, the forensic investigation part of it. So I don't know why they don't go more deep into the topics in the actual episodes they're discussing. Okay, I'm editing right now, and I just want to clarify that obviously it's not like they're making fun of it on purpose. I just thought it was interesting that they didn't focus on the whole SA aspect of why Jenna and Toby were so wrong. Like, I kind of get what she's saying, but like, oh, they're not related, so why is it such a big deal? Because this is a teen drama, right? The whole like stepbrother stepsister thing might be like taboo and like dramatic, but I think she's missing the point that it is such a huge deal and such a like an important storyline because of the fact that it was SA, not because of the fact that they were step siblings, you know? So I just wanted to clarify that because I don't want it to come off as like I'm bad-mouthing her. Like, I actually really, really love her, and I really love this podcast. I love Sarah Shepard. I love all of them, okay? But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because it's been heavy on my brain, heavy on my noggin, as Bailey Sarian would say.
And it's been heavy on my noggin.
But I have been enjoying the podcast. Otherwise, I just love anything Pretty Little Liars related. They just had the guy on that played Noel Kahn, and oh my god, he is so hot. Like, I'm actually in love with him.
Babes and booze. It's like you were expecting me.
Okay, I'm back. I had to charge my microphone, but let's get back to the story at hand. At this point, because of what Spencer knows, Spencer is totally convinced that Toby is A, and that Toby could have been the one to kill Alison for what she knew about him and Jenna. Jumping forward to Emily's chapter, we get the classic Ben and Emily in the locker room situation, except it's 10 times worse in the book. Obviously, Toby saves Emily. Just in case you don't know, Ben is Emily's boyfriend at the beginning of the book series and the TV show. Very short-lived. Doesn't go past, like, the first book or the first couple episodes because he sucks. Emily had kissed Maya in the photo booth, and Ben had found out, so he was confronting Emily about being gay, and at this point, Emily still doesn't think that she is, or is, like, unsure or whatever. She tells him that she's not gay, and he's like, prove it. So this, like, assault, it's more intense than what they show in the TV show, and that's all I'm gonna say on that. Ben is one of the worst characters ever in the Pretty Little Liars universe, and this kind of treatment is something that Emily deals with a lot in the Pretty Little Liars book series, like from a lot of weird, creepy men. She is shocked to see Toby because he had just gotten back to town, so nobody really knew that he was there yet. Toby asks Emily if she's okay. She says yes, and then she runs away.
Ben, off me! Get off! Stop it!
In Emily's next chapter, she is riding her bike when someone calls her name and startles her, and she falls off of her bike. Suddenly, Toby's there, and he's asking her if she's okay. Again. Apparently, she had dropped her coin purse, and he was running after her to try to return it to her, and this coin purse is really special to her because it's one that Allie gave her when she was alive. She's bleeding, and he wants to help her, but she keeps insisting that she's fine, until she looks down at her leg and realizes realizes just how much blood is coming out of it, and she passes out. When she woke up, she was lying in the back seat of a small car. A bunch of mini band-aids crisscrossed over the scrape on her leg. She looked around trying to get her bearings when she noticed who was driving. Toby twisted around. "Boo," Emily screamed. "Whoa, sorry, I was just playing." But this is giving like the scene from Homecoming where Toby is chasing her, trying to like explain the truth, and then she falls, and then cut to the clip of her in the backseat of his car, and he drops her off at the hospital. Except this happens before Homecoming happens. Homecoming is a whole different can of worms. Emily is so scared and makes him pull over, and she gets out, but then she ultimately decides that she's overthinking and it's fine, and she gets back in the car. Valid though. Totally valid. Like, he was literally a peeping Tom through their windows when they were children, so I wouldn't trust him either. He just got back from a reform school. I mean, maybe he's reformed, but who knows? Right? She's scared of him, and rightfully so. But they start talking and talking and talking, and she's like, OMG, maybe Toby Cavanaugh is just a regular nice guy. But she is kind of getting the vibe that he might be into her. So this is giving the TV show where they're like hanging out and like making mixed CDs for each other, and it kind of seems like she's into Toby, but really she's into Maya, and she's just trying to, I guess, convince herself that she's not gay. Although in the book series she's bi. I kind of hate that. I like her as a gay character a lot more. In the next chapter after that, they start to bond more because they're both into swimming. They're hanging out after swim practice, I believe, and then slowly Toby leaned forward and kissed her. It was very soft and tentative, just a little whisper across her mouth. When he pulled back, Emily touched her lips with her fingers, like the kiss might have been on her lips still. "What was that for?" she whispered. So when you read this, it does kind of seem as if she's into it at first, or like that she's really confused. She's also trying to stop hanging out with Maya because her mom hates Maya, and Pam hated Maya in the TV show as well, but it was kind of just because she was unconventional and because she was bi. In the book series, it's also because she's black, so Pam is racist. I feel like Pam had a really, really good character arc in the TV show, and she definitely improved a lot in the book series as well, but not to the same degree. I didn't enjoy her character in the book series at all. She was kind of just like a hindrance, like kind of like in the way, kind of annoying. And Emily's dad sucks too in the book series. He basically gives nothing, does nothing, isn't important. In the TV show, he was such a sweet man. I loved him. So she tells Maya that she met someone that she really likes. His name is Toby, and she's gonna ask him to the homecoming dance. My bad, to Foxy. So Foxy is, it's not homecoming, but it's homecoming in the TV show. Like in the TV show, they go to homecoming together. In the book series, they go to Foxy. I feel like they do have Foxy though in the TV show at some point. That dance-a-thon that they had, was that Foxy in the TV show? I might have to confirm that. Okay, as far as I know, the dance-a-thon is not called Foxy. It's simply a dance-a-thon, and I just mixed them up because they're both like charity balls. Foxy is like to raise money for charity in Flawless, and then the dance-a-thon is in the TV show. But what I'm saying is basically instead of having homecoming in Flawless, we have Foxy. Everything is just on like a different timeline in the book series, or I guess in the TV show, because the book series came first. She also tells her mom and her sister. Yes, in the book series she has 2 sisters and a brother, and she's an only child in the TV show, so that's quite interesting actually, because Hannah's an only child in the book series and in the TV show. Aria has Mike in both, and Spencer has Melissa in both, so Emily's the only one where they changed that dynamic. Interesting. She tells them that she's going to Foxy with Toby, but they have a pleasant reaction to it because they don't even know who he is at this point, which is obviously different than the TV show, because in the TV show they already had preconceived notions about who Toby was, and she didn't tell them beforehand. But when them, just the mom, I guess. But when the mom found out, she was pissed because he's weird, apparently. Although we were supposed to feel sympathy for him. It's kind of opposite in the TV show. They think he's weird, but he's not, and so we should feel sympathetic for him. But in the book series, it's like we're trying to give him a chance, and then he turns out to be weird, so we don't feel bad for him. Emily is even kind of excited for the fact that they could become a couple, but then when they do go to Foxy together, everything kind of just feels wrong for her. He says, "Everyone looks so plastic. I used to want to kill most of these people," which obviously gives her like a weird, scary feeling about him again. And it's clear like he doesn't mean it literally, but it's still a really weird thing to say. And in the show, he didn't really like to dance or really want to go either, but he was more shy about it rather than just like mean about it, you know?
Are we gonna jitterbug too?
You don't have to dance.
Good, because I don't.
This is when she realizes she literally has zero feelings for him. And then the psychic, of course, tells her that she's there with somebody that she doesn't really want, and then she should go after who she really wants, which is Maya. Maya tells her in the bathroom that she will wait for her. I really loved Emily and Maya together, and I want to do a video on them too because their relationship is a bit different than we see in the TV show, and Maya actually doesn't die in the book series. So justice for Maya St. Germain. When Spencer finds out that Emily is at Foxy with Toby, she totally freaks out because remember, she thinks that Toby's the one that killed Allie. Spencer tells the girls that she thinks Toby is A, and she also tells the truth to them about Toby seeing Allie light the firework, like the whole secret that she's been keeping this whole time. Then they all band together, leave to go find Emily, which is great because I've talked about this a few times on my TikTok, but they don't really seem to be close friends in the book series like they're shown to be in the TV show. They have their moments. It's almost like an illusion that they're close friends. Usually like near the end of the book when things are wrapping up, they'll come together. Or if there's like an event where they're all going to be anyway, they'll come together. But really they're wrapped up in their own lives, their own relationships, their own friendships and families, but they don't spend that much time together. Like we don't get those like funny little moments and like friendship ships like we do in the TV show.
Well, they're attracted to your perfume and your hair product and your lip gloss.
Why are you dressed like that?
Because, Spencer, I'm too depressed to work a zipper, all right? Get over it.
Yeah, on second thought, can you come back over here and toss me like a frisbee?
They also have so many fallouts. Like, they weren't friends when Alison first disappeared. They stopped being friends after the Jamaica thing, and they stopped being friends after the original series, where they have like that 15-year break in between before the newer audiobook. I just feel like they don't like being friends. I don't know. So I really wish we would have gotten more female friendship vibes in the book series. That's just my opinion. Like I said, it is, like, it seems as if they're close-knit friends, but they're always keeping secrets from each other. They'll always promise to never lie to each other again, and then they do. It doesn't seem like there's a super strong foundation there, where I do get those vibes in the TV show 100%. And I feel like having watched the TV show first, I go into it, like I go into the book having a foundation for what I think the friendship is. So it feels like they're close, but when I really examine the text, I'm shocked to find that they're actually not super close friends. I would love to know other people's opinions on that though. Emily runs into Ben again, and he basically attacks her again. Same thing, different place, in a public setting this time. Emily tells Toby what happened, and they decide to leave the party together. Then they get in his car. They have like a really deep conversation, and she actually confides in him that she might be gay, which I understand could be a little bit of an odd timing. Like, he's like thinking they're on a date, right? He's really into her, they kissed, and now she's like, I might be gay. So he has a little bit of a strange reaction to that at first, and she's like, is he homophobic? But I do understand where that reaction would come from. Like, if I went on a date with someone and they were like, actually I might be gay, well, if it was a man, I would be like, oh, okay. So you don't like me that, like, you know? But then they actually get into like a weird argument, and he kind of starts attacking her about the fact that her and her friends, and Alison in particular, used to bully him and a lot of other people. He got angry remembering all the people at Foxy that he wanted to kill because they all used to bully him, which I get. But his stance is basically like she can't feel insecure about being gay or like scared about what people think when she's been the bully in the past. And I think that's fair. When I go into the Jenna thing, there was like, we see a lot of instances in which like the girls were kind of Allie's henchmen, delivering the news, like bullying people, especially Jenna and Mona too. But they never really wanted to. It's strange because they did do those things, and they should be held accountable for that. But they really just wanted to impress Allie. They wanted to be her friend and be in good social standing. And she definitely manipulated them a lot. So, but obviously Toby wouldn't really know that. How would he know whether Emily wanted to bully them or not, you know? Emily also had this theory that Allie and Toby had hooked up, and I believe that was incorporated in the TV show as well. I was thinking of the whole Alison was wearing Toby's sweater debacle, where they thought that Toby was the one that killed her for a while. I think there was a theory that they were hooking up as well. Otherwise, like, why was she wearing his sweater? And part of the reason why Emily was kind of into Toby a little bit is because in her mind, she had fantasized that Allie had been with him. So, like, kissing him, she's like, oh my god, I'm kissing a guy who Allie might have kissed. And I think that's where the whole confusion came in. Like, she never really liked him. She just loves Allie. She's obsessed with Allie. No matter how bad Allie is to her throughout this entire series, she goes back to her, she forgives her, she's obsessed with her. To the point where it's almost a little bit annoying and just really, really sad. She asks him point blank if him and Allie ever hooked up. He is absolutely horrified by this and says that he could never even look at her. He also says, I know you were friends and you loved her and whatever, but personally, I'm glad that bitch is dead, which is very similar to what he said in the TV show as well. That really set Emily off in like the chem room or whatever it was. I would say this scene of them in the car is equivalent to the TV show scene of them in that classroom.
So you're allowed to be honest, but I'm not. Wait, just hear me out.
This is when she's realizing and putting it together that Toby killed Allie and he could be A. This is what she thinks anyway. She opens the passenger side door, runs out, throws herself out of the car, the moving vehicle, and starts running through a cornfield toward her house. When she gets home, Spencer calls her and tells her the whole thing about Toby, and they talk about Toby being A. She's startled when Toby is looking through the glass back door of her house. She's telling him to leave, and he's like, why did you run away? He says, I'm not sure what happened in the car. I was just sort of messed up from seeing all of those people, but that was years ago. I'm sorry. Emily thinks that the sweetness in his voice made it even worse. He tried the handle again. Emily looked around frantically for something that could be a weapon. We get a lot of like confusion here. He obviously seems really confused, and she can see that in his voice or hear that in his voice. It's hard to know whether he's telling the truth. Like, he's really confused about what happened in the car, but also he chased her all the way through a cornfield and is trying to get in the house. Whether or not he wants to harm her, I just don't think you would do that if you could sense that somebody was really afraid, right? Even though she feels a little bad for him or isn't sure about the situation, she still feels like he might hurt her. It's too late, Emily interrupted. She squeezed her eyes shut. All she wanted was to open her eyes again and for all of this to be a dream. I know what you did to her. Toby stiffened. Wait, what? You heard me, Emily said. How could you know about that? His voice wobbled. No one knew. It was a long time ago, Emily. So Emily here is accusing Toby of killing Alison. But he doesn't know that. He thinks that she's talking about Jenna. And at this point, Emily doesn't even know about Jenna. But they're getting their wires crossed. And as much as I don't respect Toby for everything, and like I can't, the miscommunication is hard for me to read because I know what happens next. Please, Toby cried. I can't go through this all over again. And neither can. He couldn't even finish his sentence, and then suddenly he covered his face with his hands and ran away back into the woods and her backyard. So obviously thinking about what he did to Jenna brings him a lot of pain. He should be in pain because he did that to her. It's still hard to read though. So Emily literally tries to hide out in her house, and then she realizes that she left her purse in his car with her house keys, so she doesn't feel safe inside the house. So she decides to literally camp out on her front porch with a baseball bat all night just in case he comes back to hurt her, which is crazy. That's some crazy shit. I personally would have just gone somewhere else, but you do you, Emily. The next day, the girls get to Emily's house to check on her, and there's all kinds of emergency vehicles there. Emily took in a huge breath, and this is the first time we're hearing this information. A mountain biker found Toby's body in the woods behind the house this morning, I guess. I guess he OD'd on pills or something. I have questions about this too, because they went to the dance together, and then they went back to Emily's house. So where did he get the drugs from? Like, did he just have a bunch of drugs on him coincidentally? It's not like he goes home and gets any. It's not like he meets anyone, unless he does, but this is never investigated, so like, it's weird. Like, we could maybe think that A did kill him, but I don't know. Like, that's never investigated, so I just don't really understand. So Emily, after camping out all night, learned that he ended it. I don't know what I can say on YouTube. On TikTok, I have to say, like, unalived and stuff like that. So let me know. I'm not really sure. He ended his life in the woods on pills because he couldn't live through what he did to Jenna again, which is heartbreaking. I feel like it's hard to say, like, oh, he learned from his mistakes or grew as a person when somebody else's trauma is involved, right? Jenna so desperately wanted him gone, and we will go into that in the Jenna thing, but just the fact that this came from a miscommunication where Emily was accusing him of killing Allie, but he didn't know that, is what gets me. Like, that is so frustrating and like, ouch. So this is when Hanna drops the bomb that Toby is not Allie's killer. She knows this because Wilden told her that this morning. This is because he is seeing her mom Ashley, just like he was in the TV show, except in the book series, I would say he was more serious about her. It kind of just seemed like they were hooking up in the TV show, and that whole thing was kind of disturbing, to be honest. Like, we're gonna do this over a bracelet. Oh, in the book it was a bracelet. In the TV show it was a pair of sunglasses. We're gonna do this over a pair of sunglasses.
You forgot your bag.
Thank you.
We're gonna have an affair with a police officer, a hot one, over a misdemeanor. Is stealing a misdemeanor? I don't know anything. I don't know about in the US, but in Canada it seems to be a misdemeanor if it's under $5,000. I don't know how much the sunglasses were, and I don't know how much the bracelet was, but could be a misdemeanor. Anyway, also, Hanna's relationship with Wilden is actually kind of sweet because in the TV show, he is a cop and he does investigate them and stuff. I keep saying in the TV show when I mean to say in the book series. TV show, evil. Book series, nice. Love him as a character. But in the TV show, he is a villain. Like, he is coming for them. He's shady as fuck. He's not like that in the TV show. I have to do a video on him too. He's a sweetheart and he ends up dating Melissa. It's so good. It's so good. I love him and Melissa. He's just like a dopey, nice guy who helps them and has kind of a sweet relationship with Hanna when he's dating her mom and a little bit after that too. But anyway, I'm rambling so much, but he shares with her that Toby is not a suspect in the case. I think that's what it was. I forget exactly what he said to her. Okay, I'm bringing out the receipts. Darren Wilden's getting out of the shower. I think I know something about who killed Alison Dilaurentis. Wilden raised an eyebrow. Who? Hanna licked her lips. Toby Cavanaugh. Why do you think that? I can't tell you why, you just have to take my word for it. You're going to have to give me a little more than that. You could be giving me the name of some guy who broke your heart for revenge. I'll tell you, she said slowly, but I don't want anyone else getting in trouble, only me, if someone has to, okay? Wilden held up his hand. It doesn't matter. We checked out Toby when Alison first disappeared. He has an airtight alibi. Couldn't have been him. He has an alibi? Who? I can't disclose that. Wilden looked stern for a moment, but then the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. He pointed at Hanna's A&F moose printed flannel pants. Abercrombie & Fitch. You look cute in your jammies. What the fuck? Now they're all like, we're back to square one. This man died and he's not even the one that killed Allie. He's not even A. Then Jenna Cavanaugh walks into Emily's side yard where the four of them are talking about what happened. This is eerie because we don't know too much about Jenna yet. So when we learn more about Jenna as a character, we learn that she's a sweetheart and she deserves the best. But at this point in the series, she's very eerie. She's very creepy. And I also noticed in that interview with Sarah Shepard on the Pretty Little Liars podcast, the girl who played Jenna asked Sarah Shepard if Jenna was the same type of character in the book, and Sarah Shepard said yes. And I understand where she's like is getting that from. Like, she's literally the author. She does seem like that, and the girls are afraid of her. But I feel like she didn't speak on the fact that Jenna is such a sweet and misunderstood character that went through so much, and she has so many more layers to her in the book series than the TV show gave her credit for. I just want Miss Sarah Shepard to hype up her own characters and writing a lot more than she does, but I think it's been so long since she read it that she's forgetting a lot of her own plot lines, which is fair. I've literally recently read all them, except when I'm excited about something, I remember everything. So I get it, but I just wanted to go on there and be like, actually, Jenna Kavanaugh is completely different in the book series. Like, tap me in, coach! I love Sarah Shepard, by the way. She followed me on TikTok, and I still talk about it. It happened like a year ago. I still talk about it to this day. This is my biggest TikTok accomplishment as a Pretty Little Liars connoisseur. Okay, I keep getting sidetracked. So Jenna comes in and says that Toby wrote them a note. When I said them, I kind of mean like Jenna and Jenna's family and then Emily, not the rest of the girls. They don't get notes. This is what the note says. Or like, this is what Emily's portion of the note says. Emily, 3 years ago, I promised Alison Dilaurentis I'd keep a secret for her if she kept a secret for me. She promised that secret would never get out, but I guess it has. I've tried to deal with it and forget it. When we became friends, I thought I could. I thought I'd changed. But I guess you can't ever really change who you are. What I did to Jenna was the biggest mistake I've ever made. I was young and confused and stupid, and I never meant to hurt her, and I can't live with that anymore. I'm done. Okay, I'm not even gonna get into the like I never meant to hurt her thing, because you did what you did. Maybe you were young and stupid, but like I hope my opinions on SA are very, 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 very clear. I don't care if it's a fucking fictional character. We don't need to be like, oh, but he was so young and had so much potential. Like, the death of Toby Cavanaugh did pain me because of the miscommunication, and because I feel like he had so much more potential as a character, and because he never got his redemption like he did in the TV show. I'm sure I've already made myself very clear. I just really, really, really don't want anyone to get what I'm saying wrong. There can't be redemption for this character because of what he did. It's like how in Gossip Girl, there shouldn't have been redemption for Chuck Bass after what he did to Jenny. I wish that that whole part of the pilot could have just been cut out, because I love Chuck Bass. But there should have been no redemption for him after that. You know what I mean? I hope you get what I'm saying. And Spoby was huge in the TV show, and I feel like in the book series, Spencer really lacks good love interests. I can't even think of like who her best love interest was, because she had so many. Oh my god, should I do a video comparing TV show love interests and the book series love interests? Like all the girls. I need to do that. I can do like a tier list, but I'll have to give background because not everyone will know the or not everyone will know the book series ones, but that's okay. I love to talk. I can do that. Anyway, fuck, what was I talking about? I'm just like going on way too many tangents. Oh yeah, Spoby. It's a shame that we didn't get that in the book series, but Toby did a really bad thing, and it wasn't just once. He tried to get away from it and he couldn't. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Okay, so to sum everything up, obviously he doesn't deserve sympathy for what he did, but I do feel that Toby is a very tragic character in the book series. I hate that he had to die, and that's it. That is Toby Cavanaugh in the book series compared to the TV show. I hope you're not annoyed at the amount of times I say book series and TV show. I hope you liked this video. I'm used to doing everything in TikTok format, so I'm interested to see how long this video turned out, like once I edit it. And let me know what topic you want to hear next. We can either do the Jenna thing, or we can do Mona as A. Those are the two that I have. Or we can do the twin theory. 3. Those are your 3 choices, okay? We gotta start there. I can't do Ali as A until we do the twin theory. So, yeah. Okay, what do you want next? The Jenna thing, Mona as A, or the twin theory? I have YouTube shorts up of my TikToks on the twin theory, so it's going to be a very similar video to that, but I feel like people might appreciate it more in long form anyway, so yes! Let me know if you've read the book series, if you've only watched the TV show and you're just interested in the book series, and anything else you would love to say about the Pretty Little Liars universe. Okay, love you, bye! Before you go, if you liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you went to my bookshop page. It's all gonna be linked in my bio, and you can find the entire Pretty Little Liars series so easily. I have them all linked on my page because that's my thing apparently. But I also have different sections for like the best books I read last year and other fun stuff that I've been reading lately. So if you're interested in that at all, please go to my bookshop page. Okay, bye.